So let's talk a little bit about lists. A list is one of the extensions of an array. A list is like an array, but I can make it grow. When I define it, the interface is called list. The most common implementation is ArrayList. So I define a variable like this, list of integer, and I do need to use the object type, so the box type. I cannot use int, I have to use integer. Let me call it numbers or nums. And I would initialize it to a new array list of integer. One thing that I can do that I cannot do with an array, right? In fact, in an array I always initialize it to a given size. Here I can grow it. nums.add of 3, so I added the number 3, 17, 24. It always returns true because it actually added the thing. And now I can look at the list, and JShell will actually print the list, so I will see 3, 17, and 24. I can ask is empty, just for fun. I don't really need it, but that will return true if it's empty, false if it's not. This list is not empty. I can ask for its size. To add confusion and delay, of course, this is different from an array. In an array, I ask for .length, and it's a property. Here, I ask for size, and it's a method. But oh well. The other thing that I can do, besides adding elements and seeing how many elements are in a list, I need to be able to access the elements and also to be able to change them, right? So the get method will access an element, and what I pass is the index. So this is the equivalent of the square brackets operator. Java doesn't allow for operator overloading, so you cannot have nice syntax. So nums.get of 0 would get me the first element, which is this number 3. Nums.get of 1 will get me 17. Nums.get of 2 would get me 24. And nums.get of 3 would get me a syntax error because I'm out, right? Similar, fairly similar to an array. I get a slightly different exception. I can also set an element. So if I do set 0, that's the element number 0, set it to be 12. Now nums will have 12, 17, and 24. And this one returns the old element just in case it was useful. That is basically it. You can also use a for loop to go through the elements of a list. You could have an index like I or something like that, and use get and size to use a traditional for loop. You can also use a for each loop, so you can do integer n in nums and do stuff like system.out.println, and that would print all the elements of a list. And that is basically just everything you need to know about lists.